This presentation and other written or oral statements made from time to time by representatives of Ault Alliance Incorporated, cumulatively the company, contain forward-looking statements within the meaning of Section 27A of the Securities Act of 1933 as amended and Section 21E of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 as amended. Forward-looking statements reflect the current view about future events. Statements that are not historical in nature, such as forecasts for the industry in which we operate, and which may be identified by the use of words like expects, assumes, projects, anticipates, estimates, we believe, could be, future, or the negative of these terms and other words of similar meaning are forward-looking statements. Such statements include, but are not limited to, statements contained in this presentation relating to our business strategy, expansion, growth, products and services we may offer in the future and the timing of their development, sales and marketing strategy and capital outlook. Forward-looking statements are based on management's current expectations and assumptions regarding our business, the economy and other future conditions, and are subject to inherent risk, uncertainties, and changes of circumstances that are difficult to predict and may cause actual results to differ materially from those contemplated or expressed. We caution you therefore against relying on any of these forward-looking statements. These risks and uncertainties include those risk factors discussed in Part 1, Item 1A, Risk Factors, of our annual report on Form 10-K for the fiscal year ended December 31, 2021, the 2021 Annual Report, and other information contained in subsequently filed current and periodic reports, each of which is available on our website and on the Securities and Exchange Commission's website, www.sec.gov. Any forward-looking statements are qualified in their entirety by reference to the risk factors discussed in the 2021 Annual Report. Should one or more of these risks or uncertainties materialize, or in certain cases fail to materialize, or should the underlying assumptions prove incorrect, actual results may differ significantly from those anticipated, believed, estimated, expected, intended, or planned. Important factors that could cause actual results to differ materially from those in the forward-looking statements include a decline in general economic conditions nationally and internationally, decreased demand for our products and services, market acceptance of our products, the ability to protect our intellectual property rights, impact of any litigation or infringement actions brought against us, competition from other providers and products, risks in product development, inability to raise capital to fund continuing operations, changes in government regulation, the ability to complete customer transactions and capital-raising transactions. Factors or events that could cause our actual results to differ may emerge from time to time, and it is not possible for us to predict all of them. We cannot guarantee future results, levels of activity, performance, or achievements. Except as required by applicable law, including the securities laws of the United States, we do not intend to update any of the forward-looking statements to conform these statements to actual results. All forecasts are provided by management in this presentation and are based on information available to us at this time, and management expects that internal projections and expectations may change over time. In addition, the forecasts are based entirely on management's best estimate of our future financial performance given our current contracts, current backlog of opportunities, and conversations with new and existing customers about our products.
Hey, it's Todd Ault, and this is Tuesday, February 28th, 2023. Welcome to the Introductory Investor Tour and Call for BitNow.com, where we plan to create a super app for BitNow.com that reinvents the way you socialize, transact, and spend time online. BitNow.com plans to offer online gaming, entertainment, e-commerce platform, build communities around sharing digital and real-world experiences. The platform accesses from any modern browser, is capable of VR headsets, anything you can think of that has a browser, including the headset, which is amazing. And it does not require heavy adoption, meaning in the sense that you don't have to have a big investment. If your phone has a browser, you can be in the metaverse. It's immersive shopping. It's an experience, digital products, coin packages, skins, real world and limited edition goods, VIP experiences, and way more. I could go on and on about this platform. BitNile.com will incentivize the usage through a tiered reward system backed by innovative revenue and reward models, including NFT-sponsored memberships and plans, so much, much more. So I want to focus you on something. I think this is the most innovative thing. I've been on Wall Street for 33 years, and I remember when Netscape went public. I remember when Facebook was out in 2004. I remember these technology moments. And this happened for me for the last 16 years. If you guys have followed me for a while, you know that I started BitNile.com in 2017 with the idea of creating something around e-commerce. The Nile River was the original commerce, the original before Christ, where all the commerce took place on the Nile River. And Bitcoin, BitNile represents the future of what's happening around the metaverse. And we have a technology partner we're going to introduce today who I think is probably, listen, I've talked to a lot of people about this guy, probably the best software engineer in the world. Now, I'm saying that's my opinion, and I have the right to that opinion, but I have a lot of people that tell me that I'm correct here. And what you're going to see is an immersive technology that's made in the browser. The browser. And those of you who think you've seen this before are wrong. You haven't seen it before. You haven't seen something where you're capable of being in a room and sending a link on social media to 30 of your friends and everyone's there and you can see it's real. You can see live streaming. You can see so much, much more. So welcome to the introduction of this. This is a subsidiary of Ault Alliance and will continue to be controlled by Ault Alliance. We plan on BitNile.com being a public company. We've made that announcement. But right now, and for the planned future, even if it's a public company, the businesses will be consolidated through Ault Alliance, the public company Ault, and we believe BitNile.com will ultimately be public. I believe that this will be the most profitable and largest venture in Ault Alliance's history, in my personal history. Now, you guys know that I'm part of Alzheimer's Neuro, and I hope to God those vaccines and treatments work. But I can't really do anything about them. The drugs either work or they don't, and they're being tested, right? But this is something that directly affects the revenue, the commerce, the delivery, the cash flow of Ault and the employees of Ault and BitNile.com. And I'm super proud about what you're about to see. We're going to interview the founder of MeetKai, our technology partner. We have an amazing deal with them, and we're launching something that I will tell you, I have talked to programmers that are around 30 years. They are the best at what they do, doing amazing stuff. And I invite you, if you're a skeptic, I invite you to log on tomorrow and try it out and ask yourself if you've seen anything where you're not asked to download it, where you're not asked to spend time and buy equipment like this. And by the way, my daughter loves this stuff and I love it too. And you can still use that. You can use this in this world. You can use whatever you want that has a browser. I've done it on my TV set. I've seen it on my iPad, different phones. It's amazing. I know someone, James will talk about someone that did it in the car because it has a browser. Anything that has a browser, including your Oculus, including your different headsets, you can get immersed in this world, from e-commerce to live events, to creating your own avatar, to creating your own, to racing games. I think this is the future of Web3. I think it's the future of the web. I think MeetKai is the future. Those of you, once again, who are here for the investor call, this is an Ault Alliance subsidiary and will remain in control of Ault Alliance and consolidate through there. There is a BitNile.com and there's a BitNile Inc. BitNile Inc. is the mining operation under Ault Alliance. BitNile.com is the metaverse operation under Ault Alliance. And yes, we have announced that we're going to be bringing it public, but Ault Alliance is still the major shareholder, the controlling shareholder, and will have control of BitNile.com, and that will all flow through and consolidate to Ault Alliance. But what I'll say to you is that the technology that our platform technology provider has built allows for everyone to build in the metaverse. And that's what got me the most exciting. We're going to be introducing new NFTs and an NFT membership program. There's innovative processes on the business side in terms of revenue for the company. And it's pretty exciting. Joe, I wonder if you could talk about just initially your thoughts on what we're doing here.
Well, I mean, I think it's really, it's kind of an incredible thing thinking back, especially how far back we were looking at doing these things. Actually, when you told me this the very first time, I thought you were skeptical. You pulled me out and said, we're going to a meeting and it's going to change things. And it actually did. Right. And then we got into this and we started looking at it, and then we started, giving our input, and then we started getting into the game, the universe, I would call it, right? It's an actual universe. And because there's so much possible, and I think truly that it's going to break down the barriers, because, I've been a gamer for a couple of years at least. And,
I don't think people realize about it. You and I's relationship started off with you being a technologist, and then you really being into gaming, and you've really got me into this idea of sort of what this would become. But I was thinking about when we bought BitNow.com, that was about 5 or 6 years ago, right?
Yep.
And what's funny is the investors we have that are skeptics don't realize that you and I have been working on something like this for such a long time. I noticed that they don't just pay attention to the details, but the details are real. And that is, we bought this, I think, in 2017. And what we knew is that technology had to evolve, and we needed someone like the person we're going to introduce that basically built the technology platform, which I consider to be like the AWS for the metaverse. We created it because we wanted virtual reality and the web, our lives, to be woven together in a way that's accessible to everybody. And we've done that. Well, really, our partner's done that. They've done our bidding for us, and we're so thrilled to be their partner in what they're doing. We try to create a world where it's seamless between reality and non-reality. You're going to be seeing events on BitNow.com that transpire also in the physical world. If those of you who follow us know we sponsor IndyCars and NASCARs, they're going to be integrated into the platform, because you're going to be able to go on BitNow.com and actually go into a real Indy car, a two-seater at Indy races. There's 17 venues around the country. You're going to be able to go into NASCAR. You're going to be able to do things in the physical and the digital world that you couldn't do before. This is the true interaction of all these things combined. Listen, virtual realities, when we think of virtual reality, we think of this headset. We think of these things that you have to hold in your hands, and those are great, and those are wonderful. And if those of you who love them, you should use them. They're probably going to get better and better over time, right? But we wanted a world that's fully accessible, and the team at MeetKai has created that. The problem that we solve here at BitNow.com is really, how does everyone have access? Whether it means playing games, shopping, all kind of in one place. Web3, which is really the browser. And when we saw this and we realized, and I don't like the statistic, it says here that only 15% of the people have access to VR. I think it's a lot less than that. You got to think globally. We are a world that's ever changing, and obviously we can't do business in every country. It's not legal, but you're going to see an environment open to the world where you can see things all over the world. And we start with BitNow.com, and we think it becomes ubiquitous. When we named this project many years ago, we called it Project Ubiquity, and I'm super proud we're here. But it's built on the backbone of technology, which is what they want to be and what they are today. And that is a firm called MeetKai. And that was invented by James Kaplan. James Kaplan, thanks for being here.
Of course, Todd. Thank you for having me.
So, James, when I saw the technology for the first time, actually, your head of business development kind of showed me conceptually what BitNow.com could be. I was like, yeah, I kind of seen this, 16, 17 years ago. I saw something similar, but I didn't realize that it was in the browser. So why did you decide to develop in the browser?
So the reason why we thought the browser was so important kind of comes back to accessibility and sort of your Project Ubiquity and all of that. And if you think about it, the metaverse to me is just an evolution of the web. And what that means is not an evolution of apps. Like, a lot of people are talking about the metaverse as this concept where there's going to be all these interconnected apps. But as we all know, look how hard it is to send text messages between iOS and Android, right? Interconnectivity of apps is never going to be where the metaverse lives. So if we're trying to imagine what the metaverse is, then in the browser, it becomes so natural, right? You want to go between different worlds. It's such a simple concept because there's just different domains. It's just the metaverse, and thinking about worlds, it's just an evolution of what domains are right now. Just that everyone, instead of just having their own .com, is going to be having their own world.
Yeah, it took me even a while after I saw what you built to realize the ease of which you just teleport between anything you want to teleport in.
It's exactly the same as clicking a link. And there should be no downloads. It should just be bring you from place to place. And that was how the web really took off. Apps are what I would say was a big step backwards, where for everyone to go into some new thing, they'd have to download this big app from the store, make a new account, go through X, Y, and Z. Everyone thought that the future of tech was going to be a bunch of apps communicating with each other. But it pales in comparison to websites in the browser, right? The web really took off when people were able to click links, go to different platforms, and really make a difference. And what we've built here with BitNile.com is the first world that showcases many different elements of what the metaverse is going to be. And over the next weeks, months, years, it's going to be continuously built up and evolving just like the web.
Your business is effectively like the utility company.
Exactly.
You want the lights to come on all the time. You're the power grid for the future of metaverse. I get a lot of people saying, well, it looks like Second Life. But what they don't understand is what it's capable of. And the pipeline of people that want to convert to meta and want to convert to a world that basically isn't limited is, to me, the when they see .com, bitnile.com, they're going to get stuck on what's there, but not what's coming. And what's coming is amazing. So how big is your development team, and how big do you expect this to be for you?
So we've dedicated about 45 engineers to this at the moment out of our 50-person company. And we're planning on adding 50 to 100 more engineers in the next 12 to 18 months just to focus on this build out.
Right.
We're the utility company, but for a utility company, you need to have someone consuming the electricity. So BitNile for us is the consumer of electricity.
Right.
BitNile.com is, if we're a utility company building the metaverse right now is BitNile.com.
So functionality wise, I think we should take people kind of let's let them see it.
Yeah.
And then talk about what you think the future of metaverse is.
Of course. So the magic here is we're just in Chrome, right? This isn't like some app that we've downloaded. This isn't a custom web browser. This is just Chrome. And when we're loading into the world, we're just dropped right in. There was no major download, just normal Wi-Fi, and we're in the world.
And what's amazing here is that you just take a link, and I can send this link to any of my friends, and they could be there tomorrow.
On any immediately. Any single platform that they're on.
Right.
Phone, mobile, desktop. We even had someone try it out in the car, and it worked there too.
Right.
Any device that has a web browser.
Oh, you mean like in their web browser in their car?
Like on the little,
Got it.
So it's
wonder how that worked.
It did work.
It did work.
And so anywhere with a browser can act as the metaverse. And the amazing part about this is when you're telling, when you go to bitnile.com, you're not being told now download our app.
You just jump in the world right away.
Yeah. And as you can see in this world, the scale of it is massive. So currently the world is about 2 square kilometers, and we're planning to expand that out continuously every few days and weeks.
Right.
As more and more content is being added.
Right.
And the first thing to really understand about the metaverse and sort of in the browser is that all the content in the browser and in the metaverse just simply lives at different URLs. It's not as if these are rapidly different products or apps or anything like that. It's just different web pages. Like, it's not this crazy new concept that people have to wrap their heads around. It's just like, for this example, right? One of the first things that's going to be launched in BitNile is going to be the casino.
Right. Casino gaming is a big deal for us. This is really part of the interactive nature of what we're building at .com. So you're going to ultimately be able to play all kinds of consumer casino games. Sorry about that, including roulette, slot machines, poker, Texas Hold'em, all kinds of different poker games, etc. Anything you can play in the casino, you're effectively going to be able to play at bitnile.com.
So yeah, so it's and the magic of this though is that we're not just putting people into a world where they're just looking at a flat screen playing poker.
Sure,
we're way closer to what a Vegas casino is like.
Right,
and the goal is that being in this casino gets a lot closer to what people sort of see in the real world, because you can add in video. And this is where things get very powerful as well.
Yeah.
Which is the idea of...
I'm excited to see it.
So, there's me on the webcam right there, just above my character. And this has audio and video as well. So if we have multiple people in this casino at the same time, they can be on webcams talking to each other.
I wanted to say this. So can you leave this on for a second? So all of us have probably been in a world where we go into like some downloaded avatar. We don't know if the person's real or not. We're interacting with them. It could be a guy talking to a girl, pretending that it's a girl or a guy, or they're catfishing someone. This technology alone right here, where you're live streaming your face there above there's all kinds of applications around this, right? It's a pretty interesting technology. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, what would we use it for? But now I kind of get it. It's really powerful. So this is an actual stream of you actually operating in the metaverse. Pretty amazing.
Me.
Yeah.
My hand is waving. You can see my hand waving on all accounts.
Have you seen that before?
My hand on the wave over there?
No. Have you seen it before in the sense that someone's been doing this type of thing?
No one has ever done this in a browser. There have been different attempts at doing it in native apps, but the power of this and kind of the trick in a lot of things is that everyone says it's not possible to do X, Y, and Z in the browser. And where that X, Y, and Z usually is building out these full-scale worlds, large, graphics pipelines, all that kind of stuff. But no one ever says, oh, it's not possible to do live video in the browser. It's not possible to do e-commerce in the browser, because that's been done from here to infinity.
Right.
So we've solved the hard parts right now, and that's what's launching is the hard part of building out a 3D immersive world.
Right.
Now, the easy part is pulling in all the things that are very easy to do in the browser and bringing it into the world. So right now, as you can see, I think that's our PJ. Is that you, PJ?
Oh, I see it. Yeah. See, people see this initially. They don't realize what platform it's built on. If PJ sent a link out where he was, if he sent, he's on his phone. If he sent a link out to 30 of his friends, they would all show up at this world.
Yep. It's that magical.
It's that magical for sure.
So as you can see over there in the world is Peter John, who's our chief business officer. And he's just right there on his avatar running around in this casino. And there he is on his webcam too.
Gotcha.
And we're just exploring the casino together. And we can go up here. We can go up to the second floor where the poker and the sports book are going to be launching in the future and do stuff together, right? When poker launches, we'll be able to go sit down at a table and play poker together.
Right. So you will actually be able to sit down in the first person and actually see your cards and other people in front of you. I've seen some of the mock-ups. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. So you can go to Universal. I mean, I know this is in development. It's a pretty fascinating part of the room, but this will give people a good understanding of how you can build this sort of teleport to whatever universe you want to teleport to, or metaverse.
So we just click in the link, right? We just click the portal, and it's no different from going to a different page.
Right.
And about 2 seconds, we load in immediately, and then the content starts getting streamed in.
Right.
And the magic here is as you're moving around the world and as you're loading in, content comes in and out.
No pixel streaming, which is amazing.
The way you can see that is I can make people motion sick by moving around the cursor.
Right.
Otherwise, with pixel streaming, it doesn't have enough of a frame rate to even get motion sick.
Right. So you can walk right up to Jurassic Park. I hope will we be able to hear his audio? Okay, let's listen to his audio. Everyone, pay attention to this. I want you to see how quickly 4K video. Those of you who are watching this demonstration for the first time should be mesmerized by this part. Imagine when you go to YouTube and you click on the channel. Let's do that here.
I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch. Creation is an act of sheer.
Did I remind everybody that you can just invite your friends in to watch something you've done, right? You can just send a link out to everyone to a video you want them to watch, and you can bring them into a world that you want them to be in. This is where I was sold on this. Can we try the Fast and Furious? I think this is a really cool video.
I used to live my life a quarter mile at a time. But things changed. I'm a father now. I will always be in your heart.
Little Brian, I have a gift for you.
Your daddy gave me this.
No, I'm gonna give it to you. It's very special. It's for protection from what's coming.
All right, Dom.
Yeah, I can't get stuck on watching that because it's 4K in the browser, in the metaverse. And this is just a sample of what you built. I know people are going to say like I'm being a fanboy, but Joe, you and I've looked at this stuff for a long time, and you're a critic. I mean, give me a reason why, or somewhere that this isn't just amazing.
Yeah, I can. I mean, the first time James showed me that video and that with no pause, and explained to me the technology behind how he accomplished that, I was just like, okay, well, I guess it's game on.
Right. You guys, those of you who are watching the investor video on the 28th, this is obviously going to be replayed. So what's amazing here is that this small little company, BitNow.com, which is owned by Ault Alliance, has partnered up with MeetKai to do what James is doing. And we're launching tomorrow morning, and you can log on tomorrow and you can drop right into the world. Now, I have watched this thing evolve, James, in such a rapid way. Every day that I log on, it keeps changing every day. So talk about what you think the cycle looks like over the next call it 15, 30, and maybe a quarter by quarter. It's every day I've logged on, it's different. So you guys keep inventing new features and putting on new features. I know this is all as part of your sort of master plan, from the car racing to the racing world to the boat world to the digging game and the things that are all interactive, to the casinos that are coming, the different games, the trivia games, the stuff you guys are making in Meta, and all the potential things you're bringing into the metaverse world. Tell us what they should expect.
Sure. So I think the way to look at this is as an early access kind of concept. Right now, what we're launching with is what we're calling the overworld, which is sort of the larger BitNow.com world. And in that world, on a pretty much daily basis, new content is being added. And if you imagine it in sort of a spatial concept, right? Different areas of the world are being developed in parallel, and in different parts of the world, you'll be able to do different things. So two of the first pieces of the world that are being built out are a car racing game and a boating game. And if you see here, this is our car racing track that we're on now. And again, this is no custom app. This is just in the browser.
Right.
And what we're able to do is we can bring in a little car.
Oh yeah, this is a new feature.
Oh wait, you got
to spawn, right?
I'll do it in the spawning. Here it is. And we're just in the browser, right?
I know, it's just crazy. By the way, I've crashed this like 100 times. I can't. I've been upside down. I've been in the water. It's you got to get used to driving it.
We're gonna have so many different driving games in the next few weeks.
Right.
This is just the beginning.
Right.
So what you're saying,
how'd you do
Todd,
that?
is it's realistic,
is that
right?
Douglas? Or is that John?
I don't know who that is.
Who is that?
Oh, that's crazy. We got to, hey, editor, keep this going because there's someone else in the world testing.
Hi, John.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh, this is great. I swear to you, we did not set this up.
That's turn on my camera and say hi to John.
Oh, that's cool. Wow, that's cool. I feel like eventually there should be some like. Do you think that you need to have like a little music in the background? Do you like it having no music?
We're gonna add music. I mean, I think the overarching mission that we have right now is just replicate real life, right?
One of the things we're gonna have is physical e-commerce and digital commerce. And there, we did talk about today. We introduced the Nile coin. And there will be a series of coins that allow you in-world and allow you to actually play casino games. And more on that will be coming. But the Nile coin was introduced today.
Yeah, and it's really going to be currencies used, some things for digital, some things for physical.
Right.
And part of the cool factor that we can enable is because we have these avatars that actually look like us, right? This, if you're looking at me and looking at this, it's pretty much the same thing if I take off my glasses.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a lot more interesting when it comes to cosmetics and wearables and how you want to dress in the metaverse. Because we have avatars in this world that's so easily accessible that actually look like us, it starts becoming much more interesting for this idea of blending digital and physical cosmetics. So for example, this is just a jewelry store in this world. And part of the magic of real life retail is being in the store, right? Of having a 3D laid out store in real life that you can walk around with other people and be there in that moment. And in this world,
this blew me away.
You can just like
this part blows me away. Look at that. Pick up the jewelry, move it around.
And the coolest thing is if this is in VR, you're picking it up too. But that means that we're not requiring VR. You can be on mobile, you can be on desktop, you can be on tablet, you can be on anything. And that's just so powerful as an accessibility point. And I think one of the major lines of business for BitNow.com is going to be this type of blended retail where you're selling for particular items that someone might want in real life, both the digital version and a physical version, where if you buy the physical, you get the digital.
Right.
And, this is just so much potential as well when you think about payments. Since as money is flowing around in this world, people are going to be able to, do certain things that earn them money.
I'm going to join you real quickly here.
Are you in the Tiffany's world? Oh my God, there's Todd.
Yeah, hold on. Do you see me?
Holy shit.
Does it look like me?
That looks like Todd.
There you go. I got double glasses on right now. There you go.
There we are. A little too close.
Hold on a second. Yay.
So Todd's on his phone.
Exactly. And I'm just on my phone and I'm messing around here to sort of prove a point, which is that it's just a link-based link-based process here. And to prove a point here, and by the way, I get a lot of this wrong. So let me see if I get it right here. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
Oh, there we go. Oh my God.
So then I'm in studio, and if I want to say, it's really me here for verification purposes, there's my live video. Now we are giving you like a tidbit of what is coming. We're really giving you a small microcosm of what's happening. We could be here for hours and hours about. I want everyone to think about conceptually the idea that you go into a store. Let's say you go into a Lululemon. There's a Lululemon employee there that's in the metaverse that goes live. It can help you ask questions, answer questions for you. You can buy that item. It appears in your digital world that you can wear with your own avatar. You can also get it shipped to you in real life. But the power of the platform that James has developed is that platform allows them to just do the commerce directly with Lululemon. So you're in a world like the real world where you can buy from people that are in the world and they all have their own e-commerce. You're not buying from, and I'm not going to go over who the big players are here, but you're not buying from one website. You're having a relationship directly with the seller who has a metaverse store. And by the way, that metaverse store can just be linked to their regular store. So you can decide to go shop in the regular store or go into Meta and see somebody, maybe interact and have it in 3D, et cetera. And James, I just want you to talk about what you think the e-commerce possibilities here are. I mean, am I explaining it right when I say to people that you're in a world where you can shop from anybody who's in that world? You don't have to, you're not paying bitnow.com, you're paying, Tiffany's, you're paying Lululemon, whoever's in the world.
Yeah, the magic of this is that the way to think about how transactions work and everything like that is no different from using the web browser. Bitnow.com is very much the web browser. It is Chrome in this scenario. People have different websites that are within the browser, and there are ways that they are connected. You have your common identity platform, which is your avatar. You have your common inventory and currency, the Nile coin.
Right.
But people can have their own fiefdoms in the world, right? Just like I can have my own website, you can have your own website.
But you could use, based on our current platform, you're going to be able to use like 10 different forms of cryptocurrency. You can use fiat currency. You can pay for it with a Visa card, MasterCard, but you can also just pay anybody who has a Shopify account, right?
Exactly.
Right. Joe, have you ever seen anything like that?
Nope.
Well, I mean, I have. It's called the web right now.
And that's why this is just Web 3.0. We're not trying to every time someone says we're reinventing the wheel or like doing something that's completely crazy, it's like, no, we're not. Web exists. Web 2 exists. Web 3 is this, and it's starting basically tomorrow.
I've seen some of your technology around making things even lifelike. Talk about the future ability to build your own house, your own world, your own mansion, and why we're not really selling land. We're selling access to a metaverse that you believe belongs to everybody. I hope I said that right.
Yes. So the really cool thing here is that the analogy I like to usually use is what you were saying earlier about building a store with Shopify, right? If you think about anyone who's like a plumber, right? A plumber can put together a website with scheduling appointments, all these types of things.
Right on Shopify. Very quickly.
Shopify, Squarespace, Wix, whoever.
Sure.
But right now, if you're telling someone to make their own game, you just they're just gonna laugh away.
Yeah, they're gonna laugh, right?
Good job. So with this, on the other hand, what we kind of saw this as is the infrastructure that's needed to let people build in the metaverse is to put it all in the world itself. Much like how we see in Minecraft and things like that, where you're just like in the world building stuff. Much like how in real life, if I want to move chairs around, I just pick up a chair and move it. That's the same exact concept for how these stores work. And to kind of showcase what that really means, I mean, I'll just go inside the store and give some context, which is that None of these objects require me to use some custom tools edit. I just turn on the editor. I can start moving things around. And this entire space is built with a similar type of methodology, right? All of these items are just placed, assembled, and built out. So people are going to be able to build their entirely custom stores extremely quickly. People are going to be able to build out entirely custom worlds extremely quickly. And the magic of it all is that you're just in the browser. The way you link between different spots in the world, they're just links. So it's going to be very rapidly, the reason why the web took off was because you had all this stuff that people were able to produce and search for and find. Likewise, the same thing's going to happen for the metaverse. The metaverse is going to take off when you have all this different type of content, all these different vendors, ecosystems on ecosystems being built. And that's really the power of Web3.
Yeah, I don't know that this does it even justice. I think that people who see this will understand and think it's just something that's not, don't understand, like, hey, games are immediate now, right? They think they can just go to a game. But this is so immediate and so transferable and scalable. I'm just kind of blown away. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
You're on a boat, driving on the Nile.
I'm on the boat on the Nile.
There you go. You're doing about, what, 15 miles an hour, 23 miles an hour? The other day I had the car up to 2,500 miles an hour.
We fixed that.
I went off the cliff, right? No, and
the camera's so buggy there.
They just drive up the side of the wash here.
Yeah, I mean
So what about the helicopter?
It's coming soon.
Coming soon.
We have now that we have vehicles ready, and the fun part of these vehicles is that they're all physics driven. So as we're figuring out more and more of the physics mechanics, and it sounds simple, but running physics simulation in the browser that's networked across a bunch of different players, not exactly simple, but it now works.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be able to do all these different types of physics driven games. And that's not just like vehicle games, right? You can imagine any type of shooting game, any type of like building game, destruction game, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Is all physics driven.
What's the difference between something like what you're doing in Roblox?
So Roblox, to create content in Roblox, you need to download all of their tools.
Right.
And then basically learn to code.
Really?
Yeah.
But people do it.
People do it, but think about how many more people create PowerPoints than create Roblox worlds.
Right.
The difficulty level that we're targeting is if you can create a PowerPoint or you can create a Shopify site, you can build out in the metaverse.
Right.
Same exact threshold of skills should be required. Right now, if you think about it, probably 1% at most of people who use Roblox are capable of creating in it. I see no reason why we can't have 30%, 40% of people in this world building more and more content.
Right. So conceptually, here's the platform, and people just keep building and building on it, and then they're connecting with it. Now, we have a deal, obviously, where we're advertising. Let's talk about the advertising possibilities. I saw a delivery of one of your ads, which I thought was the most amazing thing. It reminded me kind of like the Truman Show, and it's freaked me out a little bit because really what you did was just send an ad to someone walking in the metaverse, but they could only see the ad. No one else could see the ad.
So right now...
Oh, there you go. There's one billboard right up there.
So what's going to be going live, this will officially go live with the launch March 1st.
Right.
When we're
tomorrow.
So ads will start going live so that when people start going to bitnow.com, they will get targeted advertising.
Yeah.
In the spatial world.
Right.
And the power here is that we can blend both directly targeted ads and then untargeted generic ads.
Right.
So it gets the benefits of both of the idea of like, okay, you want to have ads that are shown to everyone outside the pyramid, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can start letting people run campaigns where they're like, I want to target people who have played a racing game and are interested in buying RAM.
Mm-hmm.
And we can target those ads.
Okay. So James, obviously this is an ad platform. It's dynamic. It's really amazing. And you guys are building multiple worlds out there that are going to connect, obviously bitnow.com being the first. And as they build out, and for those who are shareholders of Ault, we have our own deal. And we're very proud of the technology partnership we have with MeetKai. But PJ, I'm going to bring PJ in, who's head of business development there, chief business development officer for MeetKai. PJ, ever since I've known you, you're pounded by some of the biggest names to be on on the metaverse. So I want you to talk about what you think about these tools that are being built for people to come into bitnow.com and create their own like Roblox type infrastructure, but simpler, I think, easier, no downloads, that concept of what you're doing with big corporations and stuff around the world.
Yeah, it's a unique concept, right? There's a lot of companies, whether it's sports, entertainment, you name it, and they have this content that everyone wants to be a part of. Disney has Marvel, Lucas, Star Wars, Pixar, NBC has, you saw Fast and Furious, Jurassic Park, Minions. And, content is really king. It really goes back to the success that Disney Plus has had in such a short period of time. And, for us, what James has been able to build is a new set of tools and opportunities that you can then go weaponize this content in a new way to create new revenue opportunities, to create new ways for people to connect and interact and really explore, the next iteration of the internet. And everything about the platform is designed with user experience in mind. And then from, the corporate side of, well, how do we make sure that we, deliver on everything that we can kind of promise to our end user, to our fans, to the people that love this content. And that's the lens that we look at everything that we do here at MeetKai. It's always, how is the consumer, the user, going to enjoy the platform in the best way possible? And as Todd said, there's a lot of conversations happening right now. I will give Todd all the credit, is that he saw this before anyone else. And he's been fundamental as it, helped us as an organization, as a company, to kind of push out our version of the metaverse and really, make it accessible for everyone and anywhere.
What do you feel about this idea that you guys are the utility company and that everyone's going to have to pay just a little bit to the utility company that makes you guys, you guys enable Web3. So how do you look at it from how big it can be in terms of like, every time I show this technology to someone, they all want to be on it, right? I haven't had anyone say no. Like, no one has said we don't need it, right? Not one person has said to me, not one company, not from the biggest to the smallest companies to people that are older, younger. When I show this to my kids, they said, "Dad, if you can pull this off, it's going to be one of the biggest things to ever hit the web ever." My youngest son said to me, "There's no way you can do this, Dad. No way. What you're trying to do is not possible." Or at least he said, if you do it, it's going to be crazy. He may not have said not possible, but he was like a big skeptic because I'm a 53-year-old guy, right? But this is something I wanted to see, and James has created something so amazing. I'm like so fanboying this stuff, but it's because it's real. How big do you think it can be? I'm not talking about economics, because everyone I've spoken to wants to use it, right? And they'll use it in some interactive way, but I'm curious as to how big of a thing you think it gets globally in terms of whether people migrate from this sort of, I'm going to use only this device and I'm going to download stuff, to this sort of instant access.
I'll give all the credit to James. And, James is one of my best friends. He is such a visionary as it comes to this space. You met, it seems like years, but several months ago. And he's had this vision for a long time, right? We're a unique organization where we've been in stealth for a number of years. And, we are able to, led by James, be able to build these technologies and these tools to ensure that, the user experience is the best. What we want to do is minimize the barriers to entry as it relates to this platform. And I'll let kind of James dive into the details here. And maximize kind of the user experience. So to the point where it's browser-based, where there's no pixel streaming, where there's no downloads, and you can use your mobile, your tablet, your VR device, your desktop, it just makes that experience so much better. And your idea of, being the utility company, we really want to provide the tools for anyone, whether you're, a content provider or you're a content user, to be able to access all the cool things that can be, here, and what you're seeing on day one to the early access to what it'll be in a week from now, in a month from now, in a year from now, is really going to be fundamentally different and be better in every way than I think anything you've ever seen before. And
James, I pushed for a March 1st launch. Was I too aggressive?
I said, let's do it. Because one thing that's most important to me is that if you don't have feedback and you try to develop too much, like in your own little box, you can, one, miss the window, and two, miss the sort of market in some ways. With this, what we've built, it's like we're releasing the World Wide Web, and we're going to be seeing what websites are popular. When we see what websites are popular, maybe it's the BitNile retail store, maybe it's the BitNile casino, maybe it's the BitNile streaming world, live streaming, who knows? Mm-hmm. That's where we focus more efforts.
Right.
And it's so much more powerful to have all of these different platforms being launched at the start inside the BitNile world. so that we can start getting that user feedback and iterating extremely rapidly. And there's that expression where if you're not like, something's like if a product doesn't have bugs, it's not an interesting product.
Right.
And I think that there's going to be bugs. There are bugs, but just between the time that we're recording this and March 1st,
Mm-hmm.
a lot more stuff will be there.
Yeah, every day I'm on it. Every day I'm on it. Every single day, it's better and better and better and better and better. And the funny part about this is a couple months ago, when I first looked at some of the graphics you guys were putting out, I had some criticism.
Yes.
Not me, I mean, I was criticizing you, but I was being criticized for like, hey, this is going to have to improve dramatically graphic wise. And then I realized I didn't ever bring it up to you. And then I realized it's parabolic in terms of your development. So the reason I asked that sort of leading question is, where does this go for you? Say, where's Web3 and what you're doing and the tools you're introducing? Where is it a year from now?
So I think the biggest target a year from now is going to be encouraging creators and builders.
Right.
Since the web really took off in my mind with Web 2, when you had all these people building their own blogs, building their own it was this sort of ownership sense, right? So the goal, I think, in year 2 for this project, for BitNile in 2024 and all of that, is that there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people building. Everyone's going to be having their own little areas, their own little homes, their own little stores, their own little worlds. And then, because once you enable that, it's such a more powerful concept of people building businesses on the business. And it goes back to the idea of the Nile, and the reason why I think this made so much sense from the start is that
it's the beginning.
It's the beginning.
Yeah.
It's the start of the commerce. And the marketplace isn't just about selling one thing. It's about enabling other people to build their marketplace and inside someone else's marketplace, and not to get inception-y, but inside another marketplace. We've had the fortune of being able to spend years in development working on very specific types of technology, as opposed to needing to just rush to market with something.
Right.
We spent years in developing baseline deep tech that's now being applied here. I mean, we have certain things in the pipeline that I think are going to blow people away, especially when we start integrating a lot of the more AI elements that we've developed.
Yeah, for sure.
And I almost don't want to bring them up because they're so...
Yeah, the AI you guys are building is pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing to think about is when we're talking about these retail stores that people are going to be having,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can have your own person. You can be a virtual salesperson pretending to be yourself.
Right.
But what we already have in testing with some pilot studies right now is having our AI power those salespeople. So you'll be able to build your store and then have an autonomous sales agent existing there for people to interact with.
Right.
Start selling stuff for you.
Yeah, for sure. I always envisioned, I told myself that this would create jobs all over the place, but the reality is that AI is sort of taking over a lot of that spot too, though, right?
It's a mix. I mean, I think the interesting thing here that is I'm bullish on is if you think about the web, right? Think about how many jobs the web created with entire new ecosystems of how you build websites.
Mm.
And I think we're going to be seeing the same thing for the metaverse now of, apps, right? Think about the entire size of the app world is so astronomical.
Right.
And we're going to see...
Well, there's 3 billion gamers too, right? 3 billion gamers, I'm told.
And growing.
Yeah, and growing.
Right. There's many more people becoming gamers than there are any other thing.
Right.
Just because of births, right? And even now, like, aging populations are also getting into games. Casual games are one of the most sticky pieces of the industry.
Right.
And interestingly, in terms of apps and your point about Steve Jobs, he originally didn't want to have apps. His original goal with the iPhone was everyone should just build in the browser. Like, why do we need to create an app store? Let's just focus on selling the hardware and we'll just let people make apps in the browser and that's how it's going to all work. But the problem there was that the tech wasn't ready. It wasn't possible to create content in the browser that was good enough yet.
Yeah, I'm aware of the last 16 years of tech not being ready.
It is so rapid that, I found a bug. Someone was looking at this behind us, saw the bug. They've already fixed it and pushed it.
I will tell you that I continue to say this. I'm just so blown away with what is transpiring and how it's being built. What do you envision coming onto the platform? In the sense, like, we're providing gaming and all kinds of fun things that people can do and access to new worlds every single day, new things every single day. But your technology, your specific technology in the browser, especially when you see 4K streaming in the browser, not even streaming. I mean, you're not pixel streaming. So what do you envision interactability like for, say, watching shows and stuff like that? What does that look like for you in the browser?
So the magic to me here is that it's going beyond even just the flat presentation of the screen. Like, to me, that's like table stakes, right? The thing where it gets even more interesting is like, what's the difference between watching a play on Broadway versus on your screen from Disney Plus? It sucks on Disney Plus. It's because there's so much more happening when you have the spatial element, when you actually feel like you're in the world. And the power of what we can do now is go beyond just showing the video and start showing content to the sides, right? You think about using the Vegas example, because we're in Vegas, right? You go to look at a casino floor and look at the sports book, right? You have all of the screens everywhere.
Right.
You have all of the information. It's just an entirely different realm.
PJ, I wanted to talk about, we've been doing forecasts for revenue, and of course, this is forward-looking. We don't know what we're going to make on it. We do know that digital is very profitable. It can be profitable. But PJ, how do you address how big the addressable market is? I've seen something like 45 billion for metaverse. We know the numbers for e-commerce. We know the numbers for live entertainment, et cetera. What do you envision the growth curve look like for Web3 and what's happening with us?
I think it's really going to come down to, how quickly the rest of the world, sees the value of being on this platform. And I think that'll be pretty quick because we've reduced the barriers to entry, substantially. Everyone's very accustomed to going on websites via their mobile device, on their laptop, on their, PCs, tablets, whatnot. Obviously, VR headsets are, new entrants to the space. But, the unique thing about Web3, the unique thing about the metaverse is that, all the things that take place currently online and all the things that take place currently in the real world can kind of be blended into this new form. So I think it's tough to kind of hone in on a specific number, but, I'm very comfortable saying, I think James might even have some more thoughts on this, that it's quite a big space. I mean, there's a reason why Facebook decided to bet its future on this specific idea. And I think, we're the ones that are going to make it that much easier for everyone because we're solely focused on software. We're not worried about hardware. We wanted to make it so anyone on any device can use this platform. And that's the foundation of the business, of the company, and everything that James has thought of from today and going into the future.
James, it's a big market. You started building, more than 4 years ago?
Yeah.
And your thoughts on the size of the market? I don't need specifics. I mean, in the sense, like, how disruptive is this idea?
So I think we can take a decent chunk out of the internet, which is the best way I would describe it. It's not like we're trying to take a decent chunk out of e-commerce or a decent chunk out of live streaming. Like, it's not like we're trying to get 5% market share of e-commerce, right? That would be one way of looking at it. Instead, I would say, no, this is taking a chunk out of the web. So as big as the web is, as big as apps are, the goal is to get an ownership percentage of that, because like it's towards back to the Nile, right? The Nile isn't one store. The idea is that it's going to be an entire chunk of stores that each are making tremendous amounts of revenue existing in that world.
James, I want to talk about early access because early access begins March 1st. That's tomorrow, guys. It's early access. What does early access mean to you? Because I know what it means to me, but you're the software engineer. What does it mean to you?
It means that the platform has a base, right? It's like if you're building a house, it's the foundation is there, the skeleton is there, and you can start seeing where things are going to be built. We're not at the finishing stage yet, right? We're not deciding on like what type of door handles we have, but there's enough there that we can say, okay, here's where the bedroom's going to be. Here's where the living room is going to be. And likewise for this, it's here's where the casino is going to be. Here's where the retail is going to be. Here are the first 6 games that are being built. It's enough for everyone to start seeing it. And the most important thing about going early access here is to let everyone give feedback so that we know early on what people want.
Make sure you join us at our Discord channel, which we're going to be publishing here. You'll be able to see our Discord channel. And if you come sign up, you'll be able to join that Discord and you'll be able to talk about things you see. Early access means that there are going to be bugs. Let's just get it out there and iterate. And I think it's the best way to get this incredible new technology out there. PJ, what do you think about early access and what we're doing here?
It's really groundbreaking, right? Like most games are kind of launched with an early access type of view. But what we're doing here is we're opening that early access to everyone. And everyone, day one, will be able to see what we're building how interesting it is, how nothing's like it. And it's one of the few only platforms that I know where every single day that you go to the world, something new is happening. So every day that you come, there'll be a new way to explore, to connect, to engage, to have your time be spent doing really, really interesting things. I can talk about the journey that we've had over the last several months together, and how every time that we would talk, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, you would find some new part of the world that James and I might not have even seen yet, because we've been just heads down trying to, solve everything else as it relates to the world.
Hey guys, early access begins tomorrow, March 1st. Sign up at bitnow.com and you'll be there. You'll be right in. And by the way, when it goes live, you can just drop into bitnow.com and you'll be in the new metaverse. What I actually think is actually the metaverse, something that's available to everybody right now. Special thanks. Check us out on social media at bitnow.com. You can go to BitNow's Twitter account. You can go to my account, Todd Ault, where it's going to be everywhere. We're on Facebook. We're everywhere on social. It's going to be an important launch for us, and we appreciate you spending the time with us today to learn about this new product. I think it's going to be the most important subsidiary, one of the most important technologies and assets owned by Ault Alliance. This is an investor day to show you the showcase of what the platform looks like. There's no way to do that. It's changing every second. And this will be an opportunity for you to go there. You don't have to join. You just get a link and you're there, right there. But you can join and you'll get a certain amount of coins and you can play things and digging games. And every day that you come back to early access, every day you come back, there's new things that are going to be happening, new things you can explore. I think this is the biggest opportunity I've ever been part of in terms of scalability. I'm super proud of what we built, or what James has built in his team, and what we've contributed to. We have a unique deal with them, and we think that people are going to be connecting to bitnow.com. And if you want to build onto your own world in metaverse, you're going to be able to contact us and do that, make that possible. If you want to build something bigger, like you're a global company, then obviously bitnow.com will take you to PJ and we'll help you expand and get bigger. But this is a platform that we think is going to get bigger every day. We're putting real capital behind it. I'm putting real time behind it. This is a lot of years in the making. I got to think it's almost 16 years in the making, in the last 6 years for bitnow.com. We launched a platform around advertising and indie and what's happening in the real world so we could bring that in the metaverse, and now it's finally happening. Everybody, welcome to bitnow.com. We'll see you tomorrow. Special thanks to James, who's with me in Spain, and PJ and the whole team. You'll see us tomorrow at Mobile World Congress. You might have even actually seen something on social media before this. I think it's the biggest thing that the company's ever been part of, other than what we're doing around Alzheimer's, which is something we don't control. That's what happens with testing. This is the biggest commerce and B2B play that I've ever been part of. And welcome to Web3. Welcome to what James and his team has created. We are proud to be partners with them. And we'll see you on the metaverse. Take care, everyone.